So, another talking thing, so ignore it if you don't like it. Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and usually I try to look at the facts for topics like this. And this time I'm really going off a theory here that I have rather than facts. I've tried to do a bit of research on this, but looking at the recent UK protests and how they might impact futures like my own, for example, where I'm not going to be able to find work because I'm unable to work. The doctors have said I am unable to work, and they didn't really explain, which I found odd, but I figured out later on why. Because of, again, more research. There's been more research on this thing, and just anecdotes as well, and autistic people objectively will struggle in the workplace, and they decided not to allow me into work because I'm just unfit for that sort of scenario, because it's social related, and there simply isn't anything that can accommodate me, and that's why I can't work. But with that said, there's a sentiment that the country has gone to shit, and people are just very sick people in general. And this isn't just the UK, it's also around the world. Because it happens to appear in places like America, and I guess places in Europe as well to an extent. And it typically happens because there is actually civil unrest. And for those not familiar with what that is, it's when two sides collide with each other, essentially. And that's why we have like far left and far right sort of debates, and people saying, oh, lefties, get them away. But in reality, there's nothing like that actually happening, and what people see is actually an exaggeration of that thing. Because the internet seems to have this habit of highlighting the very worst of people. And this creates this narrative that a lot of people seem to think is how these people are. Like, you'll see videos and pictures of like Muslims, for example, putting up signs saying that Allah will come for them and they'll take their country, sign like that. And this doesn't represent the majority of Muslims. So naturally there's a problem here. Because people are looking at us and thinking, oh, they're all bad, get rid of them. But the rational lot of us will look at it and see that, oh, we need to actually be careful of this, we need to look at the facts before we even make judgment. And the facts behold that there aren't actually Muslim terrorists as common as you think. It simply doesn't exist. And the chance of finding one, again, is like almost a needle in a haystack. So these sort of things lead to unrest because some people don't want to come to terms with the truth, and those who have come to terms with the truth have to now deal with people who haven't come to terms with the truth. It's a fucking cycle. And I guess you could call it psychopathy. I don't know. There's probably a term for it, but it seems that way. And it's dangerous. Like, if you are one of these people to not operate off critical thinking or evidence, you are the problem. That's plain and simple, you are the problem. Because in reality, it doesn't work like that. You can't just say things without really considering what they really mean and what is implied. Because it's dangerous. That hurts people, that can kill people, as we've seen with like Charlie Kirk and various political assassinations over the recent years, I guess. It does happen, and this unrest can lead to that. It can lead to more dominance on markets, and even like the uprising in Nepal. But to be honest, that was done by the government because they killed innocent children. And that's important to note there. So I think when talking about why the world is so fucked up, strangely enough, it comes back to media. And usually I've been like a bit like, oh, the internet's not that bad, like, come on. But it is actually pretty bad when you actually look at the details, and you know, the average person, I think, is equipped to deal with it the way that it's currently presented, like algorithm stuff and like closed-mindedness. One of the dumb things that the algorithm does on YouTube is it recommends you things related to either the previous things you've watched or the things you've watched the past few weeks. Problem is, if it's something you consistently watch, then it will start recommending you more of that. So say I was watching Ukraine videos, which I am at the moment, because I find them interesting. They'll recommend you everything about Ukraine. But in an echo chamber this is dangerous, because you also need to know exactly what Russians are getting up to, if there is anything. That is, because I no doubt there probably are some out there, some legitimate channels, but again, knowing what it is from different perspectives is important to getting rid of bias. It's quite important. So you need to have these different views to learn something, but people at the moment of essentially funnel-fed, is that the term? Funneled? I guess funneled the same sort of content over and over again. You see it on TikTok. I know I'm big into the anti-immigration stuff, but one of the things that consistently showed up without fail is GB News, which it seems like they're paying TikTok to get a boost in the algorithm, because I blocked them twice now, and they still showed up. But I don't watch them because I've tried to watch them, and they just piss me off, because they're not based on evidence, they're actually dangerous, and I think I reported one of them actually, because it was literally dangerous content. It was like showing this case of another immigrant sort of harming someone, and presenting this as, oh, they're all a threat, they're all a problem. That's fucking racist, first of all, because you're using all of them, basically, as a scapegoat for the issues that you're trying to cover up of your own doing. So, that's dangerous. And again, there's no evidence behind that. And I think the other thing was, maybe it just wasn't fact-checked. Yeah, it wasn't fact-checked. Like, comparing this person alongside all the others, like, again, sort of tying into racism a bit, it's just stupidly dangerous. Like, you're not presenting numbers properly. You're saying, like, oh, this immigrant raped someone, and then you're saying all immigrants are the problem. What the fuck? That's not evidence. And this is why people get so mentally ill and mentally unstable. You pushing this narrative about something, and the people who are most vulnerable to this, by the way, the people who get outraged, who see this, think, oh yeah, they're all the problem, I'm just going to go out there and grab my gun, quick. That's the problem. Those are the people who cause these issues. And so when you branch out like this and it gets popular, you only have yourself to blame. This is what happened with Charlie Kirk's death, apparently. Because the investigation that people did, because FBI can't do it, literally revealed that he had a background in conservatism, the assassinating person, because his parents were like that, and he also was obsessed with guns. So the guy wasn't very stable. I guess who's to blame for that? And the answer should be, we don't know, because it literally hasn't been properly investigated. But like, there's so much danger here in the fact that someone could be so mentally unstable with that sort of background. It just makes you think, like, what sort of parents did he have? Because if they didn't teach him that murder was wrong, then what the hell were they teaching him? So, again, like, fact-checking is important, and these things that people see, like, that cause outrage, they end up inflicting harm on many other people. That's why I've sort of said, if I ever run for government, I wouldn't use emotions to dictate things, I'd use facts. How I feel about something is irrelevant to the actual fact. The narrative of truth is a very stable one, because it's literally the only way you can convey a point and make sure you're certain of it, because you can't really refute the truth. And that's the gist of it here. So yeah, people just get unwell from looking at these things and getting overwhelmed over time. It reminds me of my time on Facebook to an extent, because believe it or not, that's like the first sort of algorithmic catered news system, and they recommended a bunch of weird shit, to put it simply. Because trending back in like 2013, 2014 when I was still using it, and 2015 I think, I actually had to remove it because it was so annoying to see. Like every single day they'd be like, oh, there's an earthquake here, millions of people killed. Not millions, but thousands. And no, there's another fucking rape murder by a college teacher. Like, it's just sad shit, and this gets on people's minds to the point where they think there's actually a problem. But the real problem is how you address or prevent actually this from happening, and how you treat victims. Not to mention the people. But these outrageous things that people gain from this is not helping the narrative at all. And again, mentally ill people will catch on and do either the same thing, or they'll do something else entirely, which is still harmful. Also, if it's harmful intent, that is. So yeah, people are going to get mad. Like, you can tell I'm stressed talking about this, because that's literally how I've been made to feel with all this garbage that's going around at the moment. It also just reminds me of like dystopia, like vegan dystopia, because it's all sort of linked to this as well, believe it or not. Like, I see a lot of progressive people claiming that the future of the planet is like through environmentalism, like caring about the environment and obviously giving animals better rights. Do they apply it to their daily life when they can do so? No, they do not. Instead, they backfire. They use a bias against us, and actually I recommend a video on this because someone made something on Peter. Now, I tried to find the video and I've posted it on Blue Sky. It's a very interesting video I recommend people watch if you're not into the veganism or Peter. It's not got any graphic stuff, luckily. It's called Why Everyone Hates Peter, in brackets it's astroturfing, by the Satanic Panic with an E and an I instead of A in Satan. And yeah, it's a really interesting video. It highlights how people end up becoming corporate idiots because they contribute to a narrative, and these people are also the problem. Believe it or not. You could be progressive, you could be left-leaning, you could be supportive of equal rights and equality and just everything good about the world, really, that you can do. But they're only so good as the beliefs they hold, and sometimes their beliefs are just bad. And I think veganism is one that consistently the progressive are fighting against, because they think it's like a type of conservatism or authoritarianism, which it is not. Literally, we promote equality more than they do, and it shows. And unlike them, we tend to look at the evidence more. Like, there's more, in my opinion, intelligent vegans per percentage than there are intelligent progressive people. There's not so much an insult, it's just the fact that from observation you can see this being a thing. And I've seen it consistently as well. There is just more intelligent vegan people. And that's sad, really. Because I think people have the capacity to change. And I think those with some intelligence will admit there are good points, but they don't change. So it's possibly something to do with willpower or something. Yeah, like this is again why people can have problems and develop problems. It sort of reminds me of the Vegan Gains drama from years ago. All the harassment he gets from opposition just led to him having a complete breakdown over people. I don't know how he is now because I haven't watched him in years, and to be honest, I don't have an interest in it. Had some interesting gaming streams, that's all I remember. They made them private for some reason. Yeah, and it spiraled out of control, and naturally people caught on to this and thought, oh, there's a guy here doing something unusual. he's a animal-loving vegan, but he's telling people to kill themselves. He's telling people with cancer they should die. Like, is there context for that? That's my first question. Like, did this actually happen, or is it something he made up? And also, why is it only like 5 seconds of a clip as the context? Like, it's so badly reported on, and I feel like it's taken out of proportion as well, because I remember when I used to watch his streams, he actually addressed this point about a kid with cancer. He said he made up with him and became friends. Like, it's really interesting that people don't report on that. I don't know whether it's legit, because the ad should be taken with a grain of salt, but it's still something. I don't think he holds the same belief as he used to, as like in the past as he used to hold. It's like so weird how people are so biased against vegans because of PETA or vegan games, or even just a vegan teacher, I remember, who I've had to defend because there are so many stupid comments on her. Because I agree and disagree with what she says, I believe it or not. There's some really good stuff, some really shit stuff. Like, the music was obviously there to troll people and make you cringe, but send an important message, and it's all working as intended, as she intended it. So people contributed to this as a result. So they caused the problem that they were against, because it supported the algorithm and everyone made a video on it. Like, you people are fucking stupid. It's obvious that it's just so dumb. And that's the thing that really frustrated me with it, not the fact that she's just getting harassment, it's the fact that people reported on this, and the same with PETA as well. They take it out of context, and then just shit on everything she does, like every movement. Like, you see her walking, it's like, was it I forgot her name. She's walking, I have vitamin deficiency. Don't know how I forgot about that, because that's quite a common one against veganism, even though it's not against veganism, it's against the lifestyle, but who knows, people don't know. Yeah, it leads to all this frustration, and actually vegans themselves will just get pissed off with it over time. And you know, you can't hide from the truth. Again, truth is it's a very useful tool, and a weapon for that matter. It does cut deep. And that's how it's intended, really, in this reality that we live in. And really, I think that's the takeaway here. Because that's literally what causes divide. Like, people just can't agree on the truth, and there's really nothing to agree on because the truth is there. You have to accept it. There's no ifs or buts or what ifs. There's nothing like that. It's the truth. The sky is blue. Can we agree on that? Yeah, because we know the sky is blue. It's just when these things are so obvious, it's just like, what the hell are other people doing, saying it's not true? Like, who's saying the sky isn't blue? Like, I can say it's grey because we have that in the UK. I've got weird rhymes today. That's not okay. But yeah, like, fundamentally, truth is there, and it's there to be found. Not debated on, not denied. It's there to be accepted. I don't really know any other way to put it other than just accept it like you accept the colour of nature being green and the sky being blue. That's so important. So, I think that's all I've got to say here again. I don't mean to make these sort of ranty videos, but it's just so much on my mind at the moment. I've had some dumb things recently, and I don't really want to go into detail about them because they're just so frustrating and scary as well, given that there's someone I know. Yeah, world is sick. That's probably an understatement. But really, the only sort of treatment I know and the solution is actually truth bombs and open-mindedness. Like, those two go hand in hand. You can't accept the truth without open-mindedness, but you can't be open-minded without truth. Without acknowledging truth, for that matter. So yeah, thanks for listening, and see everyone another time.